Well, I found out that changing one of these docking lights on our 83 Wanderlodge ended up not being a job for the faint-hearted. I found that the bulb actually comes out the back. This one's out right now. But I ended up taking off this whole unit, these 6 screws on the face here, because I didn't know how it came apart, and you'll find out I wasn't going to get it apart from the back like this anyway. So first thing was to get all these 6 screws out. Very difficult. They were seized in there, as well as this bus has been repainted, so the screws were all painted over, so they were pretty well stuck in there. I used this impact driver to get all those screws at least out and loose, and even then some of them I had to work back and forth to get out. So how this works is it's kind of on an eccentric, and when you hammer it down it'll kind of twist. You can kind of see that or not there. It's doing a little twist action there. So anyway, what happens is you stick this in a screw, hit it with a hammer, and it provides pressure so it won't pop out of the screw head, or less likely to strip it, as well as when you hit it, it goes on that eccentric and makes it turn. The issue that I had with this is sheet metal, and there's no real support on the back side right here. It's kind of supported here, but I actually had to block it up with a jack and some wood on this back side. Otherwise, when you hit it with a hammer, the sheet metal flexes and that absorbs your shock from the hammer, and we don't want that. We want the shock to get into the screw and turn it out. So not real fun. Took me a while, but I did get all those out. And even then, this one isn't in here very far, and it's still not very easy to get out. So get those out. We can pop this whole unit out. The light actually, the wire on here was already broke. When I get this off, I found that this ring holds the bulb in, or the whole socket, with 3 bolts. However, I only had 1 bolt holding it in, and I was a little concerned about it coming apart because you got a steel bolt with an aluminum housing, so there was some corrosion in there. So I ended up heating this up with a propane torch, getting kind of warmed up, and then this screw ended up coming out without breaking off. This ring actually has a crack in it anyway. I got that off, and then I found up here, and you guys will love this Triumph of mine, or at least I do. This screw, this bolt was actually broke off in here before I pulled it apart. Somebody had been here before, and it was broke off flush there. So I put a little bit of bead of weld on there, put a knot on there, and I was able to get it out. Did not work the first time. This is the first nut that I welded. It didn't hold. I didn't let it cool long enough. Is probably the problem. But so I got that out, and then this one down here, the whole housing is broke. So I'm still going to stick a bolt in here. There's a little bit of threads left. I don't know if that's going to hold, but one was holding it in as it was. And now the socket was stuck in here, and I couldn't get that out. So now got a bunch of these screwdrivers, baby screwdrivers, and picks. And I kind of just went in here, this little pick, and was trying to scrape out any of the stuff I can get out, the corrosion, give it a little pry. I'd stick a flathead screwdriver in here, give it a little pry, trying not to break it, and then scraping out corrosion. And I went all the way around, and I finally got the socket loosened up. I get a little stiff again already. Just give it a little pry. And trust me, getting this out took me a couple hours. It was not very fun. So, now we got our socket out. And we get a little bit better access to our bulb. Alright, work this socket out. Or work it apart with a screwdriver. This thing's kind of goofy because it's got fiberglass or plastic, and then there's like aluminum on the inside here. Maybe this is just an aluminum collar in here. Then you got access to your bulb, which has this rubber thing around it. I forget, there you go, I saw that was a GE 1611. I think that'll focus. There you go, 1611. I found on the Wanderlodge owners group, some people have used one of these Napa 4411s. So that's what I ordered. And now I got a new bulb for it, so I can reassemble it. I got to replace some of this wire here because well, that was obviously corroded and broke off there. Got the other wire end there, so Alright, I'm working getting this put together. I did purchase new hardware for this. I got 3 new flange bolts. I just got them from my local hardware store. They're a 1/4 20 thread. I don't know what the thread is on these, but I went with stainless steel ones this time. These are a little longer than the ones that came out, but that's all they had. These heads are a little messed up, so I'm not putting them back in. And I'm going to use a little never sees when I put this stuff back together. Hopefully that'll help. New wire going up there. All good.